The steel claw of the bulldozer bit into the first row of 20-year-old Cabernet vines, splintering trellises like matchsticks.
Keep going. Those rows are a public nuisance, and they're coming down today.
You don't know what you are destroying. This vineyard has been here longer than your pillbox houses.
Deputy Cole stood to the side, his hand resting on his service belt, eyes refusing to meet David's.
The county signed the order, Mr. Reeves. Your fermentation tanks have been stinking up our community for months. I am just enforcing the code.
There is no stink. You fabricated those complaints because you don't want a working farm next to your precious clubhouse.
But the bulldozer didn't pause. Row after row, the vines were ripped from the earth, their root systems cracking like bones.
I'll stop you myself if I have to.
2 deputies pulled him back as the machine churned forward, leaving David kneeling in the fresh dirt among shattered posts and wilted leaves.
You think you've won, Jennifer, but you just lit a fuse you can't see.
2 weeks earlier, the same vineyard breathed in lazy afternoon sun, grape clusters heavy and alive.
This land remembers every season. These roots go deeper than anyone's paperwork.
Then a county envelope slipped under his windshield wiper, a formal notice from Vintner's Hollow HOA. The document listed 3 counts of nuisance violation: fermentation odor complaints, solid waste disposal, and noise disturbance.
Fermentation odor? It smells like yeast and ripe fruit, not a landfill. This is harassment.
The board disagrees. Your little farm lowers property values, Mr. Reeves, and that stink offends our residents.
My wine has won state medals. This vineyard is the reason your precious appellation even exists.
Appellations are marketing fluff. We are a luxury community. Clean this up, or the county will do it for you.
The printed notice felt heavier than a tractor tire as David walked back to his truck, the HOA clubhouse smirking on the hill. Inspector Harris stood beside the fermentation tanks, clipboard in hand, when David stepped out of the shed.
Mr. Reeves, I am Inspector Harris. Your HOA filed a formal air quality complaint about these tanks.
This is traditional open-top fermentation. It's how wine has been made for centuries. There's no hazard.
Tradition doesn't override county code. If the smell crosses property lines, it's a violation.
Harris scribbled on his clipboard and handed over a formal notice of violation, correct within 10 days or face forced abatement.
Forced abatement. You'd bulldoze 2 decades of growth over a smell complaint.
The county has full authority when a property owner ignores repeated HOA warnings.
This vineyard sits inside the state viticultural appellation. There are agricultural protections.
Appellations are for wine labels, not nuisance exemptions. You have 10 days, Mr. Reeves.
The yellow slip flapped in the wind as David read the stamped date, the countdown to destruction already ticking. On the 10th morning, a flatbed truck rumbled up to David's gate, a yellow bulldozer gleaming on its trailer.
Right on schedule. You had 10 days to comply, Mr. Reeves. Now the county finishes what you wouldn't.
I violated nothing. You twisted the rules because my vines don't fit your country club fantasy.
He stepped directly in front of the bulldozer's blade, arms spread wide, blocking the machine with his body.
Sir, step aside. This is a court-ordered abatement. Don't make us move you by force.
The engine revved, and the first trellis splintered under the steel claw, wrenching ancient root systems from the earth.
Finally, that eyesore is gone. The property values will rise, and the stench will be someone else's problem.
Deputies pulled him aside as row after row collapsed, his world reduced to splintered wood and torn earth.
She has no idea what she just triggered. No idea at all.
The vineyard that had stood for 2 decades was erased in under an hour, but a far greater demolition was already set in motion. David sat in his Silverado, hands frozen on the wheel, staring at the field of torn earth that had been his life's work. His hand drifted to the glove box, where a photograph of his late wife watched over the farm she had helped plant.
You always said the vines were our legacy, Maria. I won't let them be the end.
He reached beneath the seat and pulled out a locked steel briefcase, its combination dials cold against his calloused fingers. Inside lay a polished badge stamped with the state seal and a file marked Vintner's Hollow Exemption, Geographic Indication.
Vice Chair of the State ABC Board. They never bothered to check who I really am.
His jaw tightened as he slid the briefcase closed and turned the ignition, the engine growling like a promise. 20 minutes later, his truck rolled into the parking lot of the State Alcoholic Beverage Control headquarters.
The HOA's entire social life runs on liquor permits. Every restaurant, every tasting room, every gala.
He straightened his red flannel shirt and walked inside, the glass doors reflecting a man who had just stopped mourning. David called up the Vintner's Hollow liquor licenses on his office computer, row after row of permit numbers.
6 restaurants, the clubhouse bar, the tasting room, every one of them lives on permits only my board can revoke.
He cross-referenced the public event calendar and found it, the annual charity gala, 3 days away. The HOA's crown jewel.
Agent Malcolm, this is Vice Chair Reeves. I need a full compliance audit of all alcohol licenses inside Vintner's Hollow.
Understood, sir. What's the trigger?
Execute Saturday night during the gala. Simultaneous inspections at every restaurant, the clubhouse, the tasting room.
That's a high-profile hit. Are we operating on specific grounds for immediate suspension?
Their permits rely on a viticultural exemption. With the vineyard destroyed, the exemption is void.
We'll assemble the teams. Saturday at 8. They'll walk in without warning.
David set the phone down and stared at the wall clock. 3 days until the gala and the last pour. 3 days later, the clubhouse ballroom glittered with 1,000 tiny lights as Celia Thornton directed the final place settings.
The wine glasses need to be spotless. This is our biggest fundraiser of the year. Relax, Celia. Nothing can ruin tonight. We finally got rid of that eyesore next door. The county did exactly what I promised. Now property values are already ticking up. By midnight, we'll have raised 6 figures for the foundation and toasted with wines from his own region. How poetic is that? Are we sure all the permits are in order? The state can be strict about these events. Everything is pristine. I personally reviewed the liquor licenses. Not a single violation in Vintner's Hollow.
By 7:30, the ballroom was a sea of evening gowns and tuxedos, champagne flutes clinking as the first toast was raised.
To Vintner's Hollow, a community that knows how to protect its vision. Cheers.
Outside, the parking lot filled with luxury cars. Inside, no one noticed the unmarked vans pulling up at the service entrance. David's weathered hands unfolded the thick document, the title heavy with history, Regional Viticultural Zoning Compact.
I drafted this compact 10 years ago, long before Jennifer ever bought a lot in Vintner's Hollow.
He read aloud the clause he'd fought to include. Any viticultural harm within the appellation shall void all residential alcohol permits tied to geographic indication.
Jennifer's bulldozer didn't just destroy vines. It destroyed her own legal right to serve a single glass of wine.
He pulled an old photograph from the file, a younger David signing the compact with state officials behind him.
That kid knew the law could protect what mattered. Now it's time to prove him right.
The compact's language had been unchallenged since its ratification. It was a legal tripwire no one remembered until it was too late.
Malcolm will revoke individual permits. The board will revoke the exemption. 2 steps. Permanent shutdown.
He slid the compact back into the lockbox and turned the key, the click echoing in the silence.
Everything they think they own tonight disappears the moment the board votes.
The last toast still hung in the air when the music cut, and the lights snapped to full. The doors burst open. 6 men in jackets with state seals spread through the room like a net.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Agent Malcolm, State ABC. All liquor permits here are suspended. Service stops now.
This is a private event. We have county-approved licenses. You have no authority here.
Ma'am, the viticultural exemption that allowed alcohol in this HOA was revoked this afternoon. Your permits are void.
Viticultural exemption. That has nothing to do with our tastings. This is personal.
An agent peeled the backing from a red sticker and pressed it onto the clubhouse door. Permit revoked. Guests stared, their champagne flutes suddenly contraband. Waiters set down bottles as if they were hot.
Pack up the bar. All open containers are being seized. Anyone serving alcohol will be detained.
Jennifer Whitfield's shriek cut through the silence, her perfect gala reduced to a scene of confiscation and humiliation. By noon, the 6 restaurants inside Vintner's Hollow had doors locked and closed by order signs taped to every entrance.
Jennifer, the board is demanding answers. The clubhouse manager just quit. We're losing deposits. It's a bureaucratic mistake. I am calling the county commissioner now. Someone will fix this. Commissioner, who authorized those ABC agents. This is retaliation, pure and simple. Reeves, David Reeves. The grape farmer. You are telling me he sits on the state liquor board? That old fool in flannel. He's been hiding this the whole time. He thinks he can destroy my community because I cleaned up his eyesore. He doesn't know who he's dealing with. Jennifer, if he's on the state board, we can't fight this through the county. This is way over our heads. Then I'll go over his head. Every board has a chairman. I'll find leverage and bury him.
But every call she made hit a dead end. David Reeves was the vice chair, and no one was returning her messages. 48 hours after the gala, the HOA board called an emergency town hall. Every seat was filled.
Jennifer, people are furious. They bought homes with promises of a restaurant district. Now everything's dark. This isn't my fault. David Reeves abused his position to punish us for enforcing property standards. I heard someone ask, did you have his vines bulldozed? Is that true? Did you provoke a state official? He was a nuisance. The county agreed. I did nothing wrong.
The room hummed with anger, not at David, but at her. For the first time, Jennifer Whitfield faced a room that wasn't hers to command. From the back row, a man shouted that she'd cost them their property values. Others clapped.
You are all overreacting. I'll fix this. I always do. Fix it how? The board is stripping our exemption. That's a legal process, not a parking ticket.
Jennifer's mouth opened, but no plan came out. For the first time, the HOA president stood alone. 4 days after the gala, David Reeves slipped into his seat at the ABC board dais, the compact's weight impossible to ignore.
Madam Chair, I must recuse myself from the Vintner's Hollow matter. I am the property owner directly affected.
A senior board member then read the compact's core clause. Any viticultural harm within the appellation voids all residential alcohol permits tied to geographic indication. Without debate, the chair called for a vote. Every hand rose, a silent unanimous strike. The geographic indication exemption for Vintner's Hollow was revoked, effective immediately. No appeals, no waivers.
That's the sound of a door locking. They'll never pour another glass inside those gates.
Within hours, the story hit every local news site. A reporter's phone alert read, "State strips HOA of all liquor rights." The clubhouse bar, already silent, now faced a future without ever serving again. The dining rooms were tombs. At Vintner's Hollow, phones began ringing with cancellations. The flagship asset was now a liability. The board adjourned. David folded his notes and walked out alone, the final piece of his machinery now in motion. A week later, a process server climbed the steps of Jennifer Whitfield's home and pressed a thick envelope into her manicured hand.
What is this?
The clubhouse operator was suing her personally for fraud and gross negligence, listing her interference with the viticultural exemption as cause. That same morning, David Reeves sat at a rustic table in his farmhouse, signing a conservation easement that permanently barred any development on his land.
Once this is recorded, even if the HOA appeals, they can never touch this soil again.
By sunset, a large metal sign stood at the property line, "Permanent Agricultural Preserve, No Development." Jennifer's Range Rover screeched to a stop at the fence. She stared at the sign, then at David standing calmly on the far side.
You think a piece of paper stops me? I'll have this easement challenged in court.
It's already filed with the county, Jennifer. This land is now agricultural land in perpetuity. You've lost.
She stood gripping the chain link, her knuckles white, as the legal ground beneath her crumbled faster than she could sue.
You've wrecked innocent people, David. The restaurant owners, the staff, the charities, they're not me. Why punish them?
They're collateral, Jennifer. You made them collateral the moment you bulldozed my vineyard without a second thought.
I'll make a deal. I'll pay for new vines. I'll resign from the board. Just restore the permits, please.
You can't undo what's done. The board voted. The exemption is gone. Even I can't bring it back.
He turned and walked toward the new rows of baby vines, his silhouette small against the vast planting.
I'll sue you personally. I'll spend every last dime taking you down. You won't have a penny left.
Sue all you want. This land is permanent. You are already bankrupt, Jennifer. You just don't know it yet.
She watched him disappear between the rows, her voice raw, her empire reduced to a fence she couldn't cross.
I destroyed him, and he destroyed me right back.
The permanent agricultural preserve sign stood between them like a sentence already served. The morning after the confrontation, David knelt in the tilled soil and pressed the first new vine start into the earth.
This time the roots will grow under a shield no HOA can ever touch.
2 hired workers joined him, and soon 3 silhouettes moved steadily down the rows, planting rhythmically.
Maria would have loved this morning. She always said the earth forgives if you keep working it.
At noon, a courier arrived with the recorded conservation easement bearing the county seal and an effective date stamped in bold.
It's done. These vines are permanent.
He tucked the legal paper into his back pocket and returned to the vines, his shadow long in the afternoon light.
Jennifer's world is shrinking. Mine is growing again.
By sunset, 3 acres lay planted, the new trellis wire gleaming like future promises against the dark soil. The permanent agricultural preserve sign at the border caught the last ray of sun, a quiet declaration of unassailable ground. 3 weeks after the easement sign went up, a second emergency HOA meeting packed the conference room again. But this time, the hostility had a target.
I understand you are all upset, but directing that anger at me won't restore a single permit.
A homeowner in the front row stood up, shaking a printed listing. The asking price on his neighbor's house had been slashed twice already.
I didn't cause the market downturn. David Reeves did. He's the one who weaponized the state board.
But the room had heard that before. A woman near the back called out, her voice cut through the murmuring.
So what you are saying is you'd rather believe a grape farmer who hid his power than trust the person who's kept this community running.
The silence that followed was answer enough. No one spoke in her defense. Even the board members looked away.
I am not stepping down. I did what I thought was right for this neighborhood.
After the meeting, clusters of homeowners gathered in the diner down the road, drawing up a formal motion to censure the board chair. Jennifer went home to a dark house and a voicemail from the clubhouse operator's lawyer. The personal suit was moving to trial. The seasons turned. Summer baked the new vineyard rows, while David walked them every morning, watching the young grafts thicken.
The law is slow, but the vines don't hurry either. Both just need time.
His phone buzzed with court date reminders, but he silenced them without looking. The process was grinding forward on its own weight. Across the fence, the HOA pool stayed drained and covered, a green tarp gathering leaves. No one had filed a maintenance request in months. The clubhouse bar gathered dust. Its red permit revoked sticker had faded to pink.
My attorney says the trial date is firm. My assets are frozen. How did a grape farmer do this to me?
One evening in early autumn, David stood on the hill above his land and watched the sunset paint the mountains gold.
She'll get the ruling next week. The judgment day she never saw coming.
He turned toward the clubhouse roof, just visible above the trees, and allowed himself a single nod. The next court date was circled in red on both their calendars. Only one of them was ready. At 9 a.m., the gavel struck the block. The courtroom smelled of old paper and floor wax. Jennifer Whitfield sat rigid, her lawyer pale. The judge declared the ABC revocation legally sound. Vintner's Hollow had no standing to appeal. The geographic exemption was permanently void.
This can't be final. We'll appeal. I'll take this to the Supreme Court if I have to.
The judge read the personal liability verdict aloud. Fraudulent misrepresentation, gross negligence, damages, $4.6 million. Within 12 hours, real estate databases repriced Vintner's Hollow. The average listing dropped 18%. For sale signs sprouted like weeds. A foreclosure notice appeared on the door of a house 2 streets over. Then another, then 5. 60 miles away, David Reeves received a text from his attorney. He read it twice, then pocketed the phone without a word.
4.6 million. She'll never recover from that. The vines are budding. So am I.
Jennifer collapsed onto her sofa, the lawsuit documents scattered across her coffee table. She didn't move for hours. The morning paper's headline read, "Court strikes HOA, President faces bankruptcy." David folded his copy and poured a glass of water. A week after the verdict, a certified letter arrived from the state ABC, embossed with the board's official seal. The board commended Vice Chair Reeves for unwavering commitment to viticultural integrity and enforcement of the regional compact. That same afternoon, the Vintner's Hollow clubhouse entrance was draped with an egg auction banner. Inside, the bar was stripped. The auctioneer's gavel fell at a fraction of the $12 million valuation. David didn't attend. He was in his new tasting room, sliding a bottle from the rack.
The first bottling from the replanted vineyard. Just a few cases, but every drop is proof.
He uncorked the bottle, let it breathe, then poured a single glass. He raised the glass to the window, where the setting sun backlit the distant rows of young vines.
To the vines that survived, to the ones that will outlast them all.
He took a slow sip, the taste of blackberry and oak and vindication settling at last. 2 weeks after the auction, a moving van idled in Jennifer Whitfield's driveway. The house already sold to satisfy creditors. Workers carried boxes labeled kitchen and linens, the leftovers of a life that once commanded a $12 million clubhouse.
This was supposed to be my forever home. Now there isn't a single room left that feels like mine.
She climbed into her Range Rover, a freshly printed for sale sign already taped to the rear window. The engine turned over with a cough. The first time she'd driven herself in months, the moving truck pulled away first, its diesel rumble shaking the silent street. At the HOA gate, she paused and looked at the carved stone sign. Vintner's Hollow. The clubhouse behind it was dark, the auction banner flapping.
I thought that name meant power. Now it just means debt.
The gate arm lifted, and the Range Rover turned onto the county road. Jennifer didn't check her mirror. The moving truck followed, its cargo haphazard, its destination a rental unit 2 towns over. A shadow of the empire she'd built on bulldozed vines. A year after Jennifer Whitfield had driven away, the Vintner's Hollow clubhouse found a quieter purpose. The bar remained permanently dry. The old permit revoked sticker, a reminder no one spoke of. On the first Saturday of spring, the homeowners held a potluck in the old ballroom. Casseroles replaced canapes, lemonade replaced champagne. The chandeliers still hung, but the room felt smaller. The silences longer. At the diner down the road, a few residents still grumbled about property values, but most had learned to accept what couldn't be changed. By dusk, the clubhouse parking lot emptied. No galas, no charity auctions, just a community center with a permanent no alcohol placard. The for sale signs eventually came down, not because homes sold, but because owners gave up listing them. Vintner's Hollow wasn't dead. It was just quieter. A community that had tried to erase a vineyard ended up erasing its own gloss. And across the fence, the vines kept growing. In the last hour of light, David walked the perimeter, the Cabernet clusters hanging heavy with juice. He stopped at a familiar trellis post, the same one the bulldozer had snapped in half, now repaired with a steel brace.
She thought she could take this, but the vines always come back.
His fingers rested where the wood had cracked, now sealed with bark, the scar invisible beneath new shoots.
This soil remembers everything. It's all still here. Maria's hands, my sweat, every season.
The sun bled gold across the rows, and David turned toward the distant clubhouse roof just visible over the hill. He let the image pass, then walked on, the repaired post solid at the row's edge, no longer a monument to loss. By morning, the vines would wake to another season under a conservation easement that could never be undone.
She had the bulldozer, she had the county, but she didn't have the roots.
The last light caught the vines, the repaired trellis, and the man in red flannel who had outlasted them all.